Poveglia Island, the cursed land of death and suffering. In the Venetian Lagoon, just a few kilometers from the magnificent city of Venice, lies a small island with one of the darkest and most terrifying histories in the world, Poveglia. Over centuries, this island has witnessed war, deadly plagues, inhumane experiments, and countless tragic deaths. It is said that much of the soil on Poveglia is composed of the ashes of those who perished here. Today, the island is completely abandoned and strictly off-limits to visitors. However, those who have managed to set foot on Poveglia claim that its horrifying past is far from forgotten. The early history of Poveglia, a strategic outpost. Poveglia's known history dates back to the 5th century, when the collapse of the Roman Empire forced Italian citizens to flee barbarian invasions. Many sought refuge in the marshlands and small islands of the Adriatic Sea, including Poveglia. By the 9th century, the island had become part of the powerful Republic of Venice. While other islands in the lagoon flourished as trading centers, Poveglia remained sparsely populated, perhaps a foreshadowing of the horrors to come. The island's history took a drastic turn in the 14th century, when the Black Death swept through Europe. In 1348, the plague decimated Venice's population, killing nearly 1/3 of its citizens. In a desperate attempt to contain the disease, authorities designated Poveglia as a quarantine island, a place where the sick and dying were sent to perish in isolation. The Plague Island, a mass grave for the dead. Between 1348 and 1630, Poveglia became a mass burial ground for plague victims. Anyone showing signs of infection, regardless of whether they had a chance of survival, was forcibly removed from Venice and sent to the island. For those who arrived, there was no escape, no medical treatment, no hope, only death. The number of bodies grew at an alarming rate. Soon, it became impossible to bury the dead individually, and massive pits were dug to dispose of the corpses. To prevent further contamination, authorities began burning the bodies in giant pyres. According to some estimates, over 100,000 people died on Poveglia, and their ashes mixed with the island's soil. Even after the plague had subsided, the reputation of Poveglia never recovered. Locals believed that the spirits of the dead remained trapped on the island. Rumors spread that horrific screams and eerie whispers could be heard at night, carried across the water by the wind. The mental asylum, a nightmare in the 20th century. By the early 20th century, Poveglia had faded from memory. But in 1922, the island was repurposed for a psychiatric hospital. However, this institution was not a place of healing. It became a house of horrors and suffering. The most disturbing stories revolve around a sadistic doctor who conducted horrific experiments on his patients. He reportedly performed lobotomies without anesthesia, driving metal rods directly into the skulls of his victims. The patients who survived these experiments were left in a vegetative state, while the others were simply discarded. Legend has it that, over time, this doctor himself descended into madness. He claimed to hear the tormented voices of his victims and see shadowy figures lurking in the hospital corridors. One night, driven by insanity, or perhaps by something more sinister, he climbed to the top of the hospital's bell tower and jumped to his death. According to a nurse who witnessed the event, he initially survived the fall, but was mysteriously choked to death by an unknown force. In 1968, the hospital was permanently closed, and Poveglia was abandoned once more. Since then, the island has remained untouched. Poveglia today? A forbidden island of horrors. Today, Poveglia is completely off-limits, with the Italian government strictly forbidding visitors. Officially, this is due to safety concerns, but many believe it's because of the supernatural legends surrounding the island. Despite the ban, a handful of paranormal investigators and thrill-seekers have ventured to Poveglia. They have reported strange whispers, doors slamming shut on their own, and shadowy figures lurking in the ruins. Some even claim to have felt an invisible force pushing or grabbing them. In 2014, Poveglia was briefly put up for auction, but the buyer abandoned their plans after just one night on the island, allegedly due to an overwhelming sense of dread and unexplained phenomena. Even Venetian fishermen refused to go near Poveglia. Some claim that their nets sometimes pull up human bones, remnants of the island's horrifying past. Is Poveglia truly cursed, or just a legend? Poveglia's history is filled with pain, suffering, and death. Thousands of people perished here, whether due to plague, medical experiments, or insanity. The eerie stories told by those who have visited suggest that something dark still lingers on the island. But what do you think? Is Poveglia truly one of the most haunted places in the world, or just a collection of ghost stories? One thing is certain, this island will forever remain a place of mystery and fear.